Today we will talk about this very important state or attitude that Baba teaches us, that of being a detached observer. You see, Baba teaches us how to be soul conscious. Soul consciousness is a state and it's also an attitude, and Baba teaches us many such attitudes: how to be bodiless, how to be, angelic, having the state and the attitude of an angel. Or Baba teaches us how to think about ourselves as a master benefactor. So Baba teaches us many stages and many attitudes. But today we will talk about this state and attitude of being a detached observer. And you see that Baba has given us knowledge, the knowledge that we receive in Sangam Yug from the ocean of knowledge, which is very unique. And knowledge has great power. And I feel that when you are sitting in a knowledgeful and yog-yukt state with Baba, that's the state of a detached observer. So let's understand this. So first thing is, you have the knowledge that I am a soul. I am sitting on the seat behind the eyes and seeing everything through the eyes, right? And my mind, my buddhi are mine. So it's up to me whether I want to focus on something, I want to anchor my buddhi or focus my attention on something, or not focus my attention on something. So first piece of knowledge that I receive is that I am the master of my man and buddhi, and it is my prerogative whether I want to focus on something or not. And then second is, if I am focusing on something, whether I want to think about it or how I think about it, that's also my choice. So this is a very important knowledge that Baba gives us. Earlier we didn't know that we have a choice about where to focus and how to think and feel about something, or I have a choice about what thoughts and feelings to create. Now you see that Baba tells us that when we are in the face of behaviors, then, earlier when we were not in Gyan, we took everything personally. So if somebody said something, so the first thought that I created was, what have I done to deserve this? Yes, what wrong action have I done that this person is behaving like this or talking to me like this? Because we had been taught that everything that the other person is doing is because of you, and everything that you are doing is because of the other. Yes, so even when a small child, he comes back from school and the mother is sad then the father would say that because you didn't get good marks, the mother is sad. And if you had done better, your mother would be happy. So we have been groomed into thinking or conditioned into thinking that other people's behaviors and other people's reactions are because of us. But Baba tells us, no, that's not true. Every soul has their own sanskar, they have their own part, and they do what they do because of themselves, not because of you. And you do whatever you do because of yourself, not because of anybody else. So I cannot say I got angry because of your words or your behavior. I got angry because that is my sanskar. That's all I know how to do. So Baba has clarified this for us. And when you hold this knowledge in your awareness, then you sit behind the seat, behind the eyes in your seat, and you see every behavior very dispassionately. You don't attach any emotions, or you don't attach any, you don't take it personally. You don't create any thoughts about why, what, or what have I done to do this. And you also know that every soul is the master of their destiny. And you don't have to worry about what destiny they are creating for themselves. Yes, as a sevadhari, you give them good wishes, you give them, you give them shubh bhavna, you give them shubh kamna. But apart from that, there's not much you can do. And I have, in this Brahmin life, I have a slogan which I keep telling myself: you cannot save anybody from themselves. So don't go there. So if somebody wants to destroy themselves, you can't save them. So, you can just give them good wishes. You can share whatever you know. But then if they want to do something which is causing them harm and they're choosing it, you cannot save them. And there are many people in the world who don't get this. And then in the name of, helping somebody, they are not able to help them, but in that effort, they spoil their whole karmic journey. So that's also something very important to understand, because many a times you say, I don't take it personally, but I don't want that person to spoil their karma. So but you can only do that by giving them good wishes. You can't do more than that. If they want to spoil their karma, they will, and you can't help it. And you see, I have seen children getting spoiled in front of parents, elderly parents, they spoiling their whole mental health in front of children, and you can't do anything about it. But if you get caught up in that trap and you don't understand that you cannot save anybody from themselves, then in that attempt to save them from themselves, you will drown yourself. So that's why it's very important to keep this knowledge in your awareness that every soul is playing their own part, and every soul has their own karmic journey, very predestined. They have their own sanskars, and whatever they are doing or saying has got nothing to do with you. And you don't have to take it personally. You have to be with Baba, fill your heart with Baba's love, and send those vibrations to that soul, come what may. whatever they are doing. And this is the position of a detached observer. So a detached observer is not indifferent, but a detached observer is somebody who has one-way vibrational communication. So you are not absorbing their vibrations, you are not absorbing their words, their behaviors, but you are supporting them through Baba's vibrations, Baba's love. So a detached observer, so many people have a very bitter relationship with this word detached. So they say we don't want to be detached. But detached doesn't mean indifferent. Detached doesn't mean that you don't care. Detached means you just don't absorb the vibrations that the other one is sending, or you don't absorb the energy by way of words or karma or whatever the other one is doing. And this has to be practiced, because although the explanation looks good, but if you don't practice it, it is a very difficult state to be in. Let's say, so let me just give you an example. Somebody comes and tells you that, my wife and children died in an accident. Okay? And then how do you, so what is your immediate, immediate feeling? Do you not get affected by it? So, if you are not a detached observer, you don't even know when you take sorrow. And when you take sorrow, how can you give them power and happiness? Because it is so subconsciously done. So when we imagine scenes of insult or scenes when somebody is being rude, that is one part of the story. But let's imagine a scene where somebody is in sorrow, and then they are not accusing you, they are not saying anything to you, but they are just in sorrow, and then we are so vulnerable that you start absorbing their vibrations. And there's this one Kanya, and there was a Mata, and she had come, and I told that Kanya just share some Baba's knowledge with her, because I was busy doing something else. And then that Mata, first thing she told that Kanya is, my husband and my children died in an accident. And this Kanya started crying. And then she started crying, and then she was so emotional. She came and she said, I can't give her the course, she has a lot of problems. So I said, and why are you crying? So she said, no, I got so emotional listening to it. So how will you do seva like this? Now and you see, it's a big deal, but the thing is, how can you give somebody the power to face it if you can't face listening to it? If you can't face seeing it, it's not happening to you, but if you can't just face seeing it, then how can you give them the power to face it, the one who is in that situation? And we have this conditioning, and it's a whole culture that we are trained into, that when somebody is in sorrow, you soak in that sorrow, and that's your moral duty, your moral responsibility. But Baba says no. If the doctor starts absorbing the illness of the patient, how will the patient heal? So you are the healer. So Baba tells us that you have to practice being a detached observer. And how do we practice this? So the first thing that we do is, we sit in this awareness that every soul is playing their part, when nothing is happening in front of us. So you see, we open-eyed meditation is recommended for Raj Yogis. So we do open-eyed meditation. Why do we do open-eyed meditation? Because we keep our eyes open, we bring all those scenes in front of us, and we observe them dispassionately. So you sit with Baba, and all through the day, whatever happened, you bring that scene in front of you and just sit on your seat of peace and quiet and observe them without any emotion. That's a practice you do. And you see, just like when somebody has to go to war, they practice their weapons in peace. You cannot, and you see, in a practice session, the same simulation of the war is done. So, you create a simulation of whatever the war would entail, and then you practice your weapons in that artificial setting. Similarly, when you sit in silence, you bring all those behaviors, those possibilities in front of you. And then you take this stance that I am sitting on my seat with Baba in a very peaceful, knowledgeful state and observing everything, absorbing nothing. And when you practice this really well, then when it comes to, in a real life setting, when that situation comes, when somebody is in sorrow or somebody is being rude or somebody is insulting or somebody is not just behaving according to you, then you can be very dispassionate and be in your peace and quiet and play your part separate from their part. Give them good wishes, give them the power to support them on their journey also. So this is first thing. Second thing is the scenes of the drama. So you see that we, right from childhood and for many births, we have been trained to attach meaning to every scene in the drama. So, this is success, this is failure, this is good, this is bad, this is gain, this is loss. And every scene, even if somebody is presented with a scene, the first question they ask, am I in a good situation or a bad situation? Yes, so, and I'll tell you one thing, there was this one sister and she had come and she was around 40 years of age and she was not married, and I told her that you're very lucky. So she said, I don't get it. Why are you saying I'm lucky? So I said, you don't have any karmic accounts. So she said, what do you mean by I don't have karmic accounts? So I said, see, you don't have a karmic account with the soul to enter into a marriage and then have children, and all those are karmic settlements, so you are free. So then she just sat like this and she said, I never thought of it like that. Nobody told me to think of it like that. So I said, you see, this is how God teaches us to see everything differently. But when you look at the social perspective, so everything, these things also, whether you are married at a certain age or you have children at a certain age or you get a job or not, or you finish your degree or not, or if you are into something, then what is a success or what is a failure, all these things are defined. And then you start attaching meaning to everything. But does it mean anything at the end of the whole journey? Does anything mean anything? So Baba says that every scene is just a scene. Don't attach any meaning to it. Yes, and things will happen and scenes will change the way they are pre-recorded. And you see, there's this very good story about a king, and he was given a chit by his guru, and his guru said that you keep this chit somewhere with you always, and when you are in the worst of circumstances, when there is no looking ahead, just open this chit and then you read it. And then he kept it in his, in his ring, and then he lost many battles one after the other. And when he was totally heartbroken and he thought that now I must commit suicide because I have nothing left, at that time he thought, let me look at what my guru had given. And then he took out the chit and it read, this too shall pass. And you see, the only quality of every scene is it passes. The only permanent quality. So you see, whether you say it's good, whether you say it's bad, whether you say it's fame, it's defamation, it's loss, gain, it's, whatever, everything is going to pass. The good and the bad. So, and you see, when you are, Baba always tells us that we are on this journey. And when we are on a journey, you are on a train. So there are many side scenes that are crossing. And, there are beautiful scenes, there are scenes of dust, dirt, everything. And then do you think about them? You don't think about them because they are just side scenes. And Baba says every scene in the drama is a side scene. It just comes and goes. Don't attach any meaning to it. And whatever is predestined is happening, happened, will happen. Why do you have to think about it so much? And Baba says that you must keep this in your awareness. And when you practice being a detached observer, then you must see every scene with this awareness. And I'll tell you one incident from my own practice. It's very interesting. So, when I started taking the class and taking care of the center, so I used to sit on the seat, and then there was a door right across me. And then, there would be, that door didn't have an automated door closer. So then everybody who came in, they would leave the door open. And then, there would be noise and there would be air and everything coming from that door. And I used to sit in meditation right across that door. And then I would have a thought about, why can't this person just close the door? So every time a person entered, I would think, why does this person not have the sense to close the door? And then, as I cannot speak in meditation, but I can think in meditation. So I used to keep thinking about, this person left it open, and then this noise is coming, and then this wind is flowing. And sometimes in winters it used to get really chill, but then nobody took care to close it. And then after maybe, 1 or 2 sessions, I realized that this situation is not happening for the door to close. This is happening for me to understand that this is not what I have to keep doing in meditation. So then, I practiced being a detached observer. I just sat on my seat and I said, I don't care whether the door is open or closed or whatever, and nothing matters at this time. And anyways, after 1 hour, I just lose my meditation time. I cannot change anything that's happening. Yes, so I just practiced that. And after that, I practiced it in many other situations. So I was in this one situation where I had to share a room with a BK, and that BK did not get up at Amrit Vela, and they slept and snowed at Amrit Vela, and they snowed badly, and then I had nowhere to go. I had to sit in that same room and do meditation. And then, that also, I used to create a lot of waste thought on the first day, but then I got it and I understood that no, this is about me and I have to learn to be detached. And then I learned to be detached, and so many incidents which teach you that every scene of the drama. So once you start saying, this is not right, this is not good, this is not appropriate, this is not how it should be. So, why did I think about the BK sleeping? Because I thought, okay, if he's a non-BK, okay, but he's a BK, sleeping and snoring, not okay. So once you start attaching meaning to it, it becomes very difficult. But when you understand it is what it is, it happens every 5,000 years, no problem. There's nothing wrong, right, good, bad about it. And I just have to understand this is my time to remember Baba, and I do that. So practice this. And it's very interesting that in all the whatever you call the unfavorable circumstances, these unfavorable circumstances, they really teach you how to be a detached observer. But in your peacetime meditations, the small challenges that you have, these are very small challenges, right? These are not big ones. Somebody snoring when you are meditating or somebody leaving the door open is not a big thing. But if you practice being a detached observer, you will gain that attitude and that state which will help you in other situations, big ones. Even when somebody is, there was this one Kanya, and she had come and she said that somebody shot a video of her and it was an inappropriate video. And she said that I was doing that act, but I didn't want it to come out like this. And that video, it went, it circulated amongst many. And then she said, there is no other solution but for me to commit suicide. And then I said, but this video will still be there even if you commit suicide. It doesn't stop the video from circulating. So then what do you do? So I said, just relax. It's okay. It happened. These things happen, no problem. And then she said, how can you say this? It's a big deal. So I said, even you, it's up to you. You think it's a big deal, you think it's a small deal, but it is what it is. So why make your life miserable by thinking it's a big deal? But you have to practice these attitudes. And the third practice that you have to do is looking at your past as a detached observer. Because just like, the scenes of drama and the behaviors of people are prefixed, whatever is your past is also prefixed. With the future, you have to do Purusharth. But whatever has gone and been, so whatever happened in the last second also, that is part of your every 5,000 years, it is going to happen, it. So just look at your past dispassionately. So, when you sit in yoga, when you sit in meditation, these scenes of the past come up, where you did something or what you say, something happened to you, but you have to have this attitude that it happened, it didn't happen to me. So, it was just happening, everything happened, it was a scene in the drama, but I didn't absorb any of it. And when you look at every scene, and if there's something you did and then you are not able to forget it, then also look at it that it was predestined, it happened, say sorry to Baba, move on. And just create, and also ask yourself, what would I do if a similar scene presented itself to me today? And then create, your own programming of how you would respond to it today. So you were a different person, you didn't know stuff, that is what you did, but you won't make the same choice today. And just put it to rest. And when you do that, then you know you are free from the past. And the interesting thing is, if you don't put a full stop to the past, you cannot make use of the present. And the world teaches you to feel guilty about your past, and people use what you did in your past against you. So, they want you to feel guilty about who you were and what you did and all that stuff. But Baba says, no, the past is predestined. Whatever happened or whatever you did, just put a full stop and know that you won't repeat it when it happens now. And then you are ready to explore the present second in the best capacity. So this detached observer state has to be practiced very well. And in peacetime situations, look at your past, look at behaviors, look at scenes of the drama very dispassionately and practice this stance. And when you do that, then while the scene is going on, you will be able to observe and not absorb. Okay, Om Shanti.